Good morning, Cincinnati, and welcome into another episode of the Bearcat Brunch, brought to you, as always, by our wonderful partners at Royal Links Golf Tours. Have you always wanted to play golf at St. Andrews? Have you ever enjoyed that perfect pint of Guinness in Ireland? Well, now you can, thanks to Royal Links Golf Tours. They are your premier golf tour specialist, offering unforgettable golf experiences to Scotland, England, Ireland, and Wales. Their custom itineraries are more than golf trips. They are immersive cultural and country experiences that will surprise you and delight you both on and off the course. Royal Links Golf Tours is owned by former Bearcat quarterback Hayden Moore and his partner, UC alum Jeff Bartholomew. If you'd like to play St. Andrews or have that perfect pint, please visit their website at royallinksgolftours.com or call them direct at 770-331-1525. And with that, we are back live from the Cincy Light Studios. Good morning, Crypt Keeper. Good morning, Holly. Good morning, Aaron. I will try to do as much of this show solo as possible. Jeff was called in to serve and protect at a very early hour of the morning, so we'll see. Imagine he will not be joining us, but you never know. But we are here to unfortunately recap a 45-14 loss at Utah, ending the Bearcats' 7-game winning streak and putting them still right in the mix of a very jumbled and what should be a very entertaining, volatile last month of the season. So, usually I kick it to Jeff for his opening thoughts, but since he is not here, I will just give mine. They just didn't play well. I mean, in any phase, offense, defense, special teams, game plan, coaching, play calling, adjustments, you just had a bad game. And it's disappointing because it's in this prime spot with an opportunity to certainly separate yourself in the conference, to make a statement if you're into those things and caring about those things nationally, and you weren't able to get it done. And it was clear in the moment that they were, going to be up against it. Utah is a really good team that is playing very well. You're playing on the road, which we talked about months ago. This was, I felt, going to be the hardest game of the year, and felt no different going into it last night. But, I'm not saying you had to play perfect to win, but you certainly had to play a very clean game. And to miss a relatively short field goal, one that Steven Rusnick has made plenty of times, to have Brandon Sorsby, especially in the first half, play the way he played, you're just not going to win those games. And you can get into the minor element of it, but it was a sloppy game. Utah did a lot of interesting stuff, I thought, especially offensively. That offense, when you're, it's a very hard offense, I feel like, to defend because it's power, but also with a lot of movement. There were guys in motion constantly. There was running backs in the backfield. There was quarterbacks going in motion, getting reverses that you would think is a wide receiver who then is throwing the ball. It's a lot to defend, and then they just line up, and with a very good offensive line and two really, really good offensive linemen, then they can line up and just play power bully ball. And I think, UC got bullied a little bit. They got big boyed a little bit, and now it is on them to take this off week and use it to your advantage. You had a very nice 6-game run that allowed you to build a little bit of a cushion. I'm not excusing away not playing well, but the fact of the matter is they're still very much in the hunt to win the Big 12. And that doesn't change. And, you're not going to win games when your best players don't play very well. Brandon Sorsby did not have a good game. Jake Golday didn't do a ton. I thought for the second week in a row he was slow on coverage that resulted in a touchdown, and then was injured, and so it's going to be very hard to win games like this when your best offensive player and probably your best pure player. I mean, we understand Dante's importance to the team, but I think Jake Golday is probably their best defensive player overall, and neither of them played well, and that's how you lose. And then, the one of the areas that the Bearcats had probably the biggest advantage going into the game was on special teams, and that was certainly not the case. You miss a field goal, you give up a fairly long return, and then you give up a touchdown return. So that's an area that you had to frankly dominate to win this game, and it was the exact opposite.
It's crazy that you say Golday didn't have a good game when he did still lead the team in tackles with 12. Just kind of a little crazy there. I thought Tawee Walker had a great game, actually. I just thought that they didn't use him nearly enough. 7 carries comparatively to Manny Covey's 5, to Zion Johnson's 5, Chance Williams 6 even. Granted, he got some of his in garbage time there at the end.
No, I mean, I think you just the game flow got to a point that you weren't really going to be able to run the ball a ton.
But and Chad and I were talking about this last night, and I guess I'm just kind of curious on your thoughts. Why are you starting the game with Zion Johnson?
I don't know. Who knows? That was odd to say the least, but I don't know. But no, you didn't play well. Sorsby didn't play well, but there was, I don't know, it felt like there was just a ton of down the field, down the sideline, 50-50 shot plays, and not the, quick game that we thought maybe we were going to see more of. I mean, guys struggled to get open. That was clearly obvious against the man. And you just had a game where it kind of, it snowballed. It was 24-14. You get another stop, and then you go 3 and out, punt, short field touchdown, quick drive, punt return touchdown, and it's over right there. And so, hello, Chad. Good morning.
Hi, boys.
You guys feel like you probably just did this, huh?
Yep.
A little bit, yeah. I told Aaron if Jeff wasn't here, I would come chip in and help out for the day. So I'm here to chip in and help out for the day.
There you go.
Team player.
Hey, we follow the leader, man. Team player. How was the watch party last night?
Watch party was great. Grail was packed. You had the excitement of the World Series, at least. That
was a crazy ending.
To keep everybody interested.
I actually was watching that. That was.
It's the Bears game at 1 today. Obviously, gave an influx of
people,
folks. So the place was packed. The place was packed. It was a good time. A lot of UC fans, and the watch party was.
Hope Bears fans were drinking lots of Cincy Lights.
I think they were. There were a lot of Cincy Light cans on tables scattered throughout the place.
Yeah. But it's kind of one of those games. I didn't think it was going to get out of hand to that extent, but you knew what you were going to have to do to win, and I'm certainly not going to do the fan site trope of if we just done this, and this, it was all self-inflicted. We beat ourselves, all that. No, Utah played a really good game, and UC didn't. In the first half, their touchdowns, missed tackling, guys getting open, guys running through arm tackles, and it just wasn't good enough. And
we'll see if you agree with me, Dave. Like I said this to open the show last night. If you had a checklist of things you couldn't do to beat Utah, they checked all the boxes.
Yeah.
You have to capitalize, especially early. You can't let them get a 2-score lead because that is all they want in life is a 2-score lead to just grind you out. And Cincinnati kind of played right into their hands. You score the touchdown on the second drive to get it to 7-7. They score, you miss a field goal, you get a stop, you fumble. Like, they had the chances to make Utah uncomfortable, and everything that they needed not to go wrong, they didn't execute. They didn't perform well. They didn't get the job done. However you want to play it. And then you allow Utah to play their style. You allow Utah to bully you because they've got a lead and they're just going to lean on you. And Cincinnati didn't handle it well. I don't. Aaron and I talked, like, you know, were the lights too big? Was the stage too bright? Maybe, but I think that's a cop out for we didn't play well, because they had everything they needed early in that game right there in front of them to compete, and they handed it away.
Yeah,
and then you can't swim upstream against Utah.
They made errors that they hadn't made, and maybe it's why I haven't overreacted to winning 7 in a row, and so I'm probably not going to overreact to losing, regardless of the margin, losing on the road to a good team in what I think is the hardest place to play in the league. But, like, they did things they haven't done all year. I mean, Brendan Sorsby, completion percentages notwithstanding, has not been sloppy with the football. Had not put it into as PFF would say, turnover-worthy plays. As Tom Fernelli on the Cover 3 would say, oopsie daisy rate. Like, however he calculates that, like, by far the lowest in the country. Just didn't play well at all. And I think his emotions, maybe he got a little emotional towards the end of the game, which is fine, whatever. It's sports, it happens. But, you know, you got to be a little bit more collected and locked in especially when you're trying to make a comeback. It's harder to do that when you have your emotions going a little bit. But yeah, you miss a 42-yard field goal, you don't get hurt by it, you turn around, go right back down to the 25-yard line and fumble the ball. You know, they had chances, and even going into the second half, as bad as they had played, you get a stop right away, you score. You get a stop again with an interception, you're down 10 points in the third quarter. And, you know, you don't make plays and it snowballs from there, and that's how you get to where you got. But, you know, this team has, coming to this point, far exceeded my expectations. I'm not going to throw them out after one bad performance when 95 to 98% of the entire sport has had a week where you just go, man, we didn't play well, the other team played well, and that's how you lose by 31. And so I'm not going to hold them to a standard that 2% of the country is playing at right now. You know, there's things that I saw that still concern me moving forward, such as whatever you do on this break, whatever self-scouting is done, has to be looked at third quarter performance and what is going on there. Because it's been a problem the entire time in Big 12 season, is they've been one of the, and Parker Fleming, who does on Twitter, who does a lot of advanced analytics, put out an interesting graph where it broke down either success rate or EPA per play. I can't remember which one. I think success rate per quarter. And they are probably one of the top 5 teams in the country in first quarter success rate, and probably somewhere in the bottom 10 in the country in third quarter success rate. They're really, really good in the first, pretty good in the second, and good in the fourth. But the third quarter has just been not good. And you can't, that's such a tough spot to be not good, because half the time, or I don't even know, maybe not half the time, maybe more than half the time, the other team is getting the possession to start the second half, getting the possession at the end of the first half. Like, you can't, we've seen it. I mean, Baylor, Iowa State, both in games that were blowouts, did the double dip and made things for a moment a lot closer than they really were or needed to be. And so I think the bye week comes at the perfect time. To get 6 games in a row is hard work. You win all 6 of those games. You get
7.
well, but in between the byes.
Yeah.
They played 3, had a bye, played 6, had a bye, now play the last 3. So get it cleaned up. Figure out, was this an aberration? Were there things that, UC did that are only exclusive to potentially against Utah? Or do you find things that are, bigger picture, have more redundancy against that can show their heads? Because BYU is going to be a very, very similar style of game.
They don't play a similar defense.
Not a similar defense. Their offense versus your defense will be they're not pressuring at the rate that Utah does. But you can do that when you have supreme confidence in your secondary to play man and then pressure that much. I mean, it burned them a couple times, but on the whole, and I thought the UC offensive line did an admirable job. I mean, Sorsby was not running for his life. He was not dirtying balls, because pressure was immediate and he had no chance. But
it was in there quick, though.
The cumulative effect, and then also them being up, that's the, if there's any complaint, even when the game was close, it feels like maybe you got away from the running game a little too early in the first half. And maybe when you're down, I don't remember the exact play sequence, but you get the Christian Harrison pick, and I think you go 1 yard run, incomplete, punt it right back to them. So, I mean, I don't hate it, because we'd be going, what's the biggest thing you go crazy over is the 2nd and 9 run when, against a front that is as good as theirs is and a defense that's as good as theirs is. So I just kind of look at it as they did not play nearly a good enough game in any phase of the game to go to Utah and get the win. And that happens. But does it affect the rest of the season? That's, Gavin Gerhardt had talked, I guess, after the Nebraska game, just about how even in the face of that loss and the immediacy of that loss, he felt that the way the guys were handling it separated themselves from the way they handled losses last year. So you got your butts kicked, and so let's see how we handle this type of a loss, knowing that the players don't look at it this way, and the coaches, I would hope, certainly don't. But their run gave them a screw-up game. Now it's up to other teams now, whether they, even if they go 3-0, I don't think that necessarily guarantees anything. I don't know what the tiebreakers would be at this point, but
if they go 3-0, they're in.
They are. Well,
they have to be. I got that math wrong last night, but there's no way if Cincinnati wins out that one of those two teams doesn't have 2 losses. Because Tech's already got a loss. BYU and Tech play.
Right.
Somebody loses. So if BYU loses, they got 1 loss.
Yeah.
Tech's got 1 loss. Cincinnati has to beat BYU to go 3-0.
Right.
So then BYU would have 1 loss. Tech would have 1 loss in that scenario. So if they win out, they're in Dallas.
Yeah. Right.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah. So you got 3
Thanks
hard
to
games.
Austin Bass for that one.
Yeah, it makes sense, because a BYU win over Tech gives Tech 2 league losses. A Tech win over BYU gives them a loss, and if UC were to beat them, gives them 2 losses. So it would either be UC, BYU, or UC Tech, assuming, just depending on how that game goes, and if UC went 3-0.
Well, there's a host of other teams with 2.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wouldn't – I don't know. Whatever.
I'm just saying if those are the only
Only
games
one
lost
loss,
by those teams. But yeah, we're in the first week of November and we're still very much talking about Big 12
controlling your destiny.
No, you can't. Don't say that. That destiny is uncontrollable. It's a pet peeve of mine. But and maybe I'm not overreacting enough to a pretty bad loss, but that's why I said the vast majority of the country has taken a loss like this to way worse teams. Like now, show me how the next 3 games go, and then we'll talk about it. Was it the start of something, or was it just a bump in the road in a time when they didn't play good against a good team? So, you made plays, you got some stops, you put yourself in a position, to at least give yourself a chance, and you didn't get it done. The first half, 3rd and 4th downs were frustrating because they were picking up some longer ones. It wasn't the get it to 3rd and 4, get it to 4th and 1, and we pick up 2 or 3. It was they were getting some 3rd and 10, some a 4th and 7 quarterback run.
Yeah.
So, frustration's all over the place, but I still think this is a good team. I still think they can definitely go 3-0 and put themselves in position to go to Dallas. Did you guys anything particular to the loss that you noted, or was it just kind of everybody contributed in a bad way?
Well, I mean, when your average time of possession is 125, that's really not going to help you out.
It was at
all.
one point it was 28 minutes to 10.
Well, you finished 40-20.
Yeah, that was after you had the 1-2 play, 88-yard. You give it back to them, and just not a good game. I mean,
if you would have told me that they miss a field goal, they fumble just outside the red zone, they give up a punt return touchdown, I would have told you they got their butt kicked.
Yeah, they did all the things that we talked about all year that they hadn't done.
Yeah.
And special teams had been great in
Special,
pretty much every
Aaron
aspect.
likes to say.
Yeah. You were making all your kicks, which is all you ask a kicker for. You were punting it well enough, and you were covering kicks. And they didn't do any of those things well yesterday. So if a strength is going to be a major weakness on the road against a good team, you probably know what you're going to get. Their first half touchdowns, bad tackling, and I think bad coverage on the first one. What do you think you're going to get?
Right.
So,
I still, Dave, the Tywee thing, it doesn't make any sense.
No, I don't understand it either. I mean,
just because Evan Pryor's out, that doesn't mean you have to keep doing what you were doing and just putting in a rotation of other guys.
The fast guy, the other fast guy.
Tywee, when he touched the ball, was outstanding.
Yeah, and I thought they had good wrinkles in the run game, especially with the option stuff, because that's how you can run perimeter against a man team. Is you run
you want to run that stuff without Tywee? Go ahead.
Yeah,
I was gonna say maybe that was why they got away from him, was wanting to run option plays on a drive, but
run the corners off because their backs are turned, and if you make the edge defender choose and he chooses wrong, you have as was shown. You have a lot of green. Now, they weren't going to all of a sudden make that the primary point of the offense. And then when you go down, as they did, it kind of takes that element away a little bit. But no, I think they could have stuck with it more, even in the situations that they were in. Because a couple of the times, they're just giving the ball back right away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
it's not for me. For me, Dave, it's not even as much the touches It's the snaps.
Right.
I feel like he was never on the field. Like, never. He'd come in for 2-3 plays. He'd run it once or twice, look really good, and then we wouldn't see him for an hour.
Yeah, we'll see the Keegan. I'm sure will have the PFF snap counts up on the board, but yeah, it's frustrating because even as poorly as they played at times, you could see a path to making it an interesting game. I'm not going to say that they would have came back and won the game, but but they those errors were self-inflicted, but they were put in that position because of the way Utah played.
Yeah.
So you just, you had a very uncharacteristic game from several participants and giving the ball up. I mean, how many passes do we think Sorsby's had batted down all year versus
Very
last
few.
night?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe one in 8 games, maybe 2.
Well,
and there were 4 last night.
It looked like they thought they were going to surprise Utah by going quick game. And it didn't. Like,
No.
they've seen that before. That was not something that caught them by surprise. Why didn't Royer get the ball more? Every time they tried to throw to him, the ball got batted down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it just wasn't a good. I mean, it wasn't a good offensive pass, especially in the pass game. Yeah,
Well, I think 3 of the 4 balls that were batted down were to Royer standing there, like running wide open.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Sorsby has. And that's the thing. I don't think Sorsby has some glitch in his motion that all of a sudden, I didn't feel like these were passes that we hadn't seen all year. So I don't know. He's just have to pick it up because you're just not going to win a game like that if he doesn't play better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Difference between good coaching and great coaching. I mean, it's kind of ironic, D-fan, because 2 weeks ago, Utah fans were ready to fire Kyle Whittingham into the sun when they lost to BYU.
Over 20 years, which we heard from the broadcast like 17 times.
I don't think it has anything to do with coaching as much as it had to do with execution and style. Like, if you make those mistakes, Utah's going to bend you over their knee and spank you. BYU didn't make those mistakes. Texas Tech didn't make those mistakes, and they were able to handle Utah.
It's the first game they've played since they've been in the Big 12 against a team that plays this level of physicality football, and I don't think it was glaring, but it was clearly obvious. Like, it was a step up in the style of play that they're accustomed to playing in every other Big 12 game. It's a different style. And, they didn't acquit themselves well in the first go-around, but I'm sure there's plenty that they'll learn from that. You just have to get used to certain things. You have to get used to playing in the Big 12. When we started in the American, when Navy came in and they sliced and diced UC's defense for a couple games, and then Marcus and those guys figured out how to play better against that style of offense. There's a learning curve in everything that you do, and you can't learn from it until you do it the first time. It's just a different style of offense. It's a different. I mean, I thought their offense was super. Just as a football fan, the stuff they were doing was super fun to watch, and probably very hard to game plan against and very hard to defend in real time, just because you've got plays with 2 quarterbacks on the field, you've got plays with running backs in the backfield, taking the snap, not taking. It's a lot.
6 offensive linemen, 7 offensive linemen,
7 offensive linemen,
at times.
2 tight ends. I mean, yeah.
The one of the worst things that probably happened, Dave, is that freshman quarterback got to play last week, and they were like, we got something. We should use him a lot too.
Yeah.
And now Dampier's out wide. He's catching a jet sweep and throwing a touchdown pass off of it. Like, That looked like a fun offense to call.
Well, it's a fun offense to call because the way they play and is efficient. I mean, you could tell Bearcat can't throw the ball maybe 40 yards downfield, but they play so efficiently, and the way they run the football and the looks that they give you out of the run make his decisions super easy. Like he knew, he processes quickly, and he knew exactly where to go with the ball, because you have to be so mindful of the way they run it that it just makes his routes, it makes his lanes pretty easy to deal in.
Yeah.
You know, because when we talk about with how many fourth downs this team's already faced, it's like it's tough to stop an offense when they, 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards. Oh, we'll go for it on fourth down, and we can get another 3 yards. So
I think they've been averaging 3 a game. The opponent's going for fourth down 3 times a game. And that number jumps up if you take out Northwestern State, because that didn't count.
Well, it's either in the high 20s or into the 30s now.
Yeah, it was right at 3 a game coming into this one, and then 2 more yesterday?
Yeah, I think so.
On the first drive?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Both they get by the nose of the football.
Yeah. I mean, that's the frustrating part, is you're there. I mean, you're there to make plays. You're in the right positions. I thought Christian Harrison had a really good game. You had guys making plays, making tackles, stretching stuff out, but it's the cumulative effect of it all, and just the body blow that eventually they'll break a tackle, or a guy will miss a run fit, and the quarterback does. I mean, the one spin move he had on Sims got him back on the next play, but that's so hard to defend, and it puts you in 2nd and 5, and it's like, okay, well, we can kind of do whatever we want.
I thought first down was good, Dave. I thought second down was the problem yesterday. For the most part, it was 2nd and 7 or more all night. Aaron and I talked about this last night. It felt like second down was 5, 6, 7 plus every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Like, all right, 2nd and 8. Like keep this to 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6, and you're in a pretty good shape. And next, it was 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. Second down was a killer.
For sure. And, you get to now just take a breath, I think. I think that's needed right now. And, get yourself cleared and ready to roll for these last 3, because it's 3 good teams. I mean, this is what I kind of started alluding to it Wednesday night. Like, this is why you joined the Big 12, right here.
Yeah.
This even being frustrated with a loss, like this is the difference to me. It's like, before we'd be frustrated with wins because wins weren't by enough or weren't clean enough.
Yeah.
Now you can be frustrated by a loss, but you can also just instantly flip it and go, all right, we got another good one in 2 weeks, and we can sit back and see if maybe somebody like a West Virginia will do something for us against Houston. And this is why it gives you a chance to rebound from when you play bad. You can still go do the things you had as your goals going into the season. You guys got anything else on this one?
Arizona game becomes monumental.
Oh, yeah.
Because you lose to Arizona and you got BYU and TCU lined up after that. I would hate to end this season with a bad taste in my mouth.
You go 5-2 to 5-7, and then you go 7-1 to 7-5. Yeah, that would not be good.
Not
And look,
after last season.
Right. That's yeah.
You can't do that 2 seasons in a row. That would be just a disaster for Coach Satterfield and this program that you feel like they're actually kind of building momentum at this point. But
I think, Dave, if they get to 8, like if they, we got a lot of time to talk about it between now and when the Arizona game happens. But if they get to 8, I think everybody's happy.
Yeah.
8-4 with it would be exactly what we talked about in terms of I don't want 6 or 7.
No.
Like you had your chance at 6 or 7 last year and you let that get away. In order to show the type of progress that we believe that the program needs to be on, the trajectory it needs to be on, you got to get to 8 to make everybody feel good. And they're right on the cusp of it, and they're a better team than Arizona. Arizona can beat you, absolutely. But I think they're a better team than Arizona. Yeah. And you're at home.
Even if you get to 8, I think you're still going to have a lot of people upset that you lost 2 in a row.
Those people are never going to be pleased. Those people can piss off. I'm just saying. Like
there's nothing to say to that.
Like if we would have said in the beginning of the season this team wins 8 games, everybody would have taken it. Everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Given how the last 2 seasons went, everybody would have said 8, lock it in, I'm good. You don't get to move the goalposts. They get to 8 and you go, well, I'm still disappointed.
I did say 8 and people told me I was a crazy person.
Exactly. People thought 8 was a stretch. So if they get to 8, be happy. Now, does that mean I'm content with them not getting to 8? No, you're in a position to have a really, really good, potentially double-digit win season. Go do that. My point being, this Arizona game becomes huge. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't win that, then the doubt starts creeping back in. If you win that, I think everybody looks at, okay, BYU at home, TCU on the road. Those are 2 really tough games. You got to play really well, and you got to win those games. Losing to Arizona would be a tough pill to swallow.
Mm-hmm. I agree. But that will put a wrap on the Bearcats' 45-14 loss to the Utah Utes, which I was watching the game, and they did the old talk to the students, and some student asked, what is even a Bearcat? And I sat there and I go, what is actually a Ute? Just a person that lives in Utah? That your mascot is a bird?
What's a Ute? The hell out of here with what's a Bearcat.
But anyway. It was not a good day in the Simone house. The Bearcats lose, the Vols lose, the Spartans lose in overtime. Bengals will probably lose today. This will just be a total lost weekend, but in a playoff,
we've had a lot of good weekends.
We've had a lot of good weekends, and this
except
one was
the Michigan State thing.
They're stinky poo poo. But the Vols, I won't say gave one away, but man, they were going down to take a 14-point lead, and Joey Aguilar gets rocked, and they have a 70-something-ish touchdown return for Oklahoma. The whole game kind of flipped there. And in what is essentially a playoff eliminator, the Vols have been eliminated from playoff contention, as they still have to play Florida and Vandy, and haven't beaten anybody worth a rip. Top 10, Georgia Tech goes down to NC State. That is one of the more surprising results of the weekend. NC State was not really good, and Georgia Tech they were surviving some affairs, but
I don't think Georgia Tech is really any good.
They're good. Haynes King is pretty dang good. But
they barely escaped some bad teams so far.
You give up 48 to NC State, and the ACC, we'll stick in the ACC with Miami losing at SMU. I mean, I think it's Virginia. We're getting a conference championship game of some combination, I believe, of Virginia, Georgia Tech, even with the loss, Virginia, Georgia Tech, Louisville, based on how the rest of the season goes and the tiebreakers. Miami having 2 losses already with the roster that they have outside of the quarterback, because Carson Beck, I don't think, is actually any good, and they paid him a heck of a lot of money to come down there. That's now verging into the most disappointing territory after the way they had played the first month and a half of the season. There were not a lot of good games yesterday.
Dave, the PFSN
Yes.
had Miami graded as the number 1 offensive line this week. And
Wait,
they still lost the game. Yeah.
Oh, going into the game?
No. Yesterday.
After the game?
Through week 10, like the
Oh.
week 10, just the week 10 ratings had Miami as the
I
number
thought
1 graded
that means
offensive
like
line.
through all games played in week 10, this is how we've graded them out for the season.
Yes.
That's how I've always yeah. I don't think the offensive line played that bad yesterday. Carson Beck is just a terrible quarterback.
That's my point. If you're a Miami fan, your offensive line was the best offensive line in the country that week, and you lost.
I mean, they've
That
got 2
can't
guys.
happen.
They've got 2 guys like Utah that I think are really darn good and potential first-round picks. Big results in the Big 12. You guys will cover it, but Jeff Sims good at football, or Iowa State just who knows what they are anymore.
Is this Matt Campbell's exit stage left? Finally?
Well, it's going to be hard for Matt Campbell to exit stage left if these jobs that he would be a fit for keep having their coaches say that they're not leaving. Like, I would have thought Nebraska would have been a shoot. Like, if Rule had gone to Penn State, Nebraska would go after Matt Campbell, but that's not.
There's so many good jobs open, though. Somebody's coming after Matt Campbell.
They are, and they have been, but he just seems reluctant to move unless it's a very specific type of job, which you got to feel good as a fan. Sticking with my Nebraska, you really got to feel good as a fan when your AD competing against no one gives your coach a contract extension for no reason after losing by 18 to Minnesota, and then you turn around and lose at home to USC. You got to feel good about that. As my AD's really working hard giving our coach money when no one else is trying to give our coach money.
Is that the fear of Penn State coming after him? Because he's a Penn State guy?
That's the only possible explanation, and my response is, so what? You're Nebraska. Like, you don't think if Penn State wanted to hire Matt Rule and give him an insane amount of money that they could, and that you couldn't go get a replacement level coach for Matt Rule? You had to give Matt Rule like whatever, $13 million a year, whatever it was on an extension. These AD, that's my biggest gripe with ADs is who are you negotiating against when you give out these contracts? Like,
great question.
Have him go to Penn State. If he's going to be the coach of Penn State, have him go and go, okay, Nebraska, here's what they're offering me. Do you want to match it or not? Instead, we just get extension for no reason. But
year three, Matt Rule, not a thing this year.
Patrick Mahomes Jr., I think, did get hurt in that game. So
maybe they'll be better.
Well, they weren't when they weren't in the moment. Indiana 55, Maryland 10. Indiana's
unanimous number 1.
I mean, I think they still have the best win of. I mean, the resume is certainly better than Ohio State's. If you're really saying this team is playing great and has a better resume, then yeah, I think they should be.
They are just dog walking everybody.
I'm sure it'll come back to bite me, but the easiest bet going right now is Indiana over team total, whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, game total for both teams, because Indiana's hitting that usually.
Yeah, it was 36.5 yesterday, and that cleared midway through the third quarter.
What was the whole game for both teams?
50. Yeah, they had
Indiana's
55.
hitting the over for both teams with regularity. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen in college football. Indiana's a wagon.
I don't think they're really necessarily. They're not doing stuff to run it up. They're just their defense is good, offense is good.
They're just executing.
Yeah. Excuse me. Texas Tech finally beats Kansas State and actually, okay. What are we? Can I say that Avery Johnson stinks?
He stinks.
I've been saying it.
He stinks.
Like
he's fast. Like
yeah,
if you let him get in the open field, he can run past you. He can't play quarterback.
He had some throws yesterday. I was like, what are you like? Where?
They had every opportunity to win that game. Like,
yeah,
they just offensively, woof. And then they did a great job defensively in the first half.
Yeah.
And then the second half, they just let Tech march up and down the field any way they wanted.
Texas Vandy. Texas is destroying Vandy. Vandy comes back 21 points in the fourth quarter. Thank you for that backdoor cover on that meaningless touchdown with nearly a second left. But I don't know what to make of Texas. They now have 2 really good wins. Seems like Arch is playing better. Defense is still going to be good. So they're still in the playoff hunt, as much as that seems odd to say. At 7-2, you're in the SEC, you're not out of it. You beat Oklahoma, you beat Vandy. Those are 2 pretty darn good wins. West Virginia, Houston. Watched actually a good bit of that.
That was a bad look for Houston.
It's like West Virginia's offense had been dreadful, and they kind of did whatever they wanted. You get a pick 6, turns the game for West Virginia, puts them up 10, puts Houston in chase mode, and they could just never get stops. West Virginia wins 45-35. Clemson loses again, 46-45 to Duke. They're just a bad team now. You're 3-5. You have to win out. You were like top 3 in the country. You were my preseason pick to win the national championship. And you've got to win your last 3 games just to go to a bowl game. That's hard to fathom at a place like Clemson. What other games? There were not that many good ones. That's
No,
for sure.
Wasn't a great weekend.
No. The Orlando School of Continental Breakfasts really acquitted themselves against Baylor. And we do need to ask, after last week, did you see how many pass attempts Sawyer Robertson had in the first half?
All of them, right?
Like 30.
Yeah, all of them.
Which makes me even more go, what were you guys doing?
That's still the most dumbfounding thing I've ever seen. When they came out in the first 5 or 6 plays of that game, attempted 1 pass, ran it 4 times, and had a coverage scramble for like 2 yards. Like, what? You thought running the ball was the way you were gonna? I don't know. I'll never understand that.
No. And
I'd have fired Dave Aranda on the way to the plane for that game plan.
AAC race, just going to be wild. North Texas takes out Navy. They're not undefeated anymore. I feel like 7 teams in the AAC have 1 loss.
Yeah.
I have no idea who plays who, but it's going to be.
But it looks fun.
Whoever's figuring out that tiebreaker, all the prayers to you. It's I think Tulane, Navy, North Texas, Memphis, and USF are all still very much in play to make the conference championship. The one to watch though now, you got to watch
ECU.
Got to watch San Diego State. They have one loss. They're gonna factor in to this. Who gets the they don't want to call it the 12th spot, but let's be real, the 12th spot. I don't know, man. There's not. I had a hard time finding 6 games to pick Wednesday night.
You did.
Loser Leave Town Bowl, Kentucky 10, Auburn 3. I'm sure that was exciting to watch.
Does Hugh Freeze get whacked today?
Well, they're 4-5, and
you can't lose to this Kentucky team.
They're so bad.
They're terrible.
Yeah, they're so bad. And maybe what was the saddest game yesterday? Oregon State, Washington State, just 2 teams, 2 programs that have just gotten dirt kicked on their faces
taking it right on the chin.
Every step of the way for the last couple of years. Just plays a such uninspiring 10-7 game. Like if you're bad and you're downtrodden, at least like sling it around and score 45, lose like the Hawaii San Jose State game last night. Watch that. Hilarious. Broadcasting crew, hilarious. But like that was 45-38. Like fun game, whatever. 10-7 in a game where the leading passer for Oregon State was 10 for 15 for 33 yards.
Oregon State's on a heater. That's 2 in a row for them on this.
And they won. Season. They won a game where the quarterback attempted 15 passes for 33 yards. Oh my God. They had 184 yards of total offense. They were 1 for 12 on 3rd down, and they won. That might be the saddest game of college football played this season.
Boy, thank God we're not running Oregon State or Washington State team sites.
Oregon State's already fired their coach.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, but that's all I got. There wasn't anything.
They won't be hiring Matt Rule.
Probably not. Do you guys know if any Bearcats did anything good in the NFL last week? Sauce didn't play against the Bengals.
Alec Pierce had a couple good catches. Once again, leading the NFL in yards per reception.
It's like he gets 1 catch for 45 yards every game.
Monster.
But I think that will wrap it up. We are all very tired. Thank you to everyone that joined the chat. Thank you to Aaron and Chad for jumping in here to help out and staying up. How late did the aftermath go last night?
2, but really 3.
Okay.
Because of the time change.
Yes, that's true.
We started right as it went from 2 back to 1. The show started. So
I had to try to explain daylight savings time to a 6-year-old this morning. That was fun.
He doesn't care. He's still gonna wake up an hour early than usual, and he already wakes up very early.
Yeah, it was early. But
I don't know, Aaron. Did you go right to sleep?
No.
I think I went to bed it was before 4 new time. So like 4:30, 4:45 in the morning. I'm going to be a mess for like 5 days.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least we get a little break now too. Podcasters need breaks too.
Dave, basketball starts tomorrow.
I'll be there.
Friday.
I'll be there if someone in the chat wants to email me the tickets you told me I could have.
Dee, it was great to see you yesterday. Got to meet Dee. She was in town for the Bengals Bears game. Stopped over and said hello. Super pleasant.
Excellent. Well,
so it was great to meet her.
Well, we'll be back. We'll be back Sunday morning. We'll be back tomorrow. What, tonight? Right? You guys are going tonight.
Going tonight, and then Aaron and I will have an aftermath tomorrow after the season opener for the Bearcats.
Can't wait.
I was going to say that, Dave. The thing is, I left after the punt return touchdown. I looked to my dad and said, "Let's go."
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm not getting home a half hour after the end of this game.
No, you don't get any bonus points for
staying until the end of the game.
No.
We did our job. The place was packed. D can attest. It was super crowded all night. It was awesome. Thank you to everybody that showed up. But after that punt return, that was it for the Brendel clan.
I don't blame you.
We headed for the exits.
Don't blame
Get out of
you.
here.
Well, with that, thank you everybody in the chat. As always, like, subscribe, tell a friend. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Chad. Thanks to Cincy Light, and thanks to Royal Lakes Golf Tours for being such a great partner. We will be back next week to probably talk about BYU Texas Tech and what else happens around the country. But thanks again, everyone, and have a great Sunday.